bless you today, Zoe. God is good and He is forever blessing us and keeping us. We honor Him and we give His name the highest praise. Thank you for joining us again this week for another lesson from the book A Simple Life that is offered by Time Rayner. Last week we began to talk about how to make your life, or rather how to make your time really count. Today we'll be dealing with chapter number 2, the barriers of time. This chapter is focusing on movement, the next step after clarity. The author started this chapter telling a story about an 83-year-old man he had an encounter with. And during their encounter, the elderly man told many stories about his life. They were stories of deep, real struggles and pain. His life has not been easy. He took care of his family during the Great Depression, making money on the street corners singing. He did missionary work in Africa, building many churches. But after every story, he would smile and give credit to God for allowing him to survive and to have part in such an amazing journey. Toward the end of the conversation, the old man disclosed that he was dying. He had contracted a common illness that because of his age, his body was no longer able to fight. The author wanted to be sad with him, but he couldn't. The man seemed to look forward to it. In almost the same breath he told the author about his impending death, he said, "I have been faithful to my God, and I wouldn't take it back for anything." There was such passion. Proverbs 16:31 is a perfect passage to explain this man. Gray hair is a glorious crown. It is found in the way of righteousness. This encounter relates to this chapter because if it is God's will, we will grow old. But what stories will we have to remember? What will you talk about when you're 83? What stories would you tell? What adventures would you want to share with those who are willing to sit down and listen? At this point in your life, without a doubt, there will be a series of narratives. But the question is, what will they be about? Something powerful happens when an 83-year-old man says that he has been faithful and would not take back the years of his life. He is saying, I don't regret the way I lived. I don't regret the way I did life. I like the stories I'm able to tell. What is so happy about this is this man knowingly is nearing death, but yet he is satisfied with the priorities he chose to live out his life. Some things in our life make us lose perspective. Sometimes things get in the way and prevent us from creating the stories we will want to tell when we turn 83. We sometimes hail them as necessary evils, knowing that all are not part of the life we want to live, but all are a means by which we can achieve that life. But far too often, those evils never leave and justify our continued involvement with those actions. We're just calling everything necessary. And that's how life's congestion begins. As I discussed last week with you, somewhere along life's timeline, our day has become congested. Our days, our weeks, and our years are filled with plans and commitments. Life seems like a bunch of to-dos. We schedule everything out so that we can meet the demands of our busy days, so that we do not lose 1 second and think that the day was a wasted day. When we created our mission statement in the previous chapter, we knew that we would encounter problems living it. We knew that life was going to get in the way. We knew what was desired. It would not be easy to accomplish, but we did it anyway because we understood anything good is worth pursuing. Without even giving it a second thought, you knew that there were going to be obstacles preventing you from living out your mission statement. When creating your mission statement, you turn your dreams into goals. So now let's take time to face reality. Staring at your goals might make you feel uneasy, and you may want to give up before you even get started. But don't. Giving up now is giving up on a life that you really want to live. Brothers and sisters, child of God, please hear me. Expect hindrances along the way. Hindrances is what brought you to this point. All of the hindrances that has caused you to go through something is what brought you to where you are today. It is those same hindrances that you desire a different way of life, and you choose to pursue life in a different way. In order to move beyond just staring at your mission statement and actually putting it into action, we need to start clearing out any obstacles that might be in our way that we are not able to move to a more simpler life. Like the dam of a stream, hindrances can cause us to get lost in the natural flow of our life's time. We become people that we never wanted to become, and often unable to figure out how to get back to the life we desire. How did we get there? Only we know. But the removal of those obstacles is necessary to allow us to a course that allow us to accomplish our ambitions and become who we want to be. The choice is ours. Sometimes we look back on all our decisions with satisfaction, and then sometimes we view what we have gone through with regret. We have the benefit of living now in a nation that places freedom of choice on the highest pedestal. We are encouraged to make decisions for ourselves, to push the limits of our right to select. For those who enjoy liberty, we are grateful. We know the power of choice, and it's a gift to be able to use it freely. We are where we are in life only because of choice. And you have to understand that if you're going to do anything, you have to learn how to make a choice to change. We have to be willing to come face to face with what stands in our way of our mission statement and make the decision to eliminate it. The Bible has numerous examples of those who made the right decision. Noah decided to build a boat. Daniel chose not to eat the king's food, but rather to still eat his vegetables. Esther approached the king. Their decisions allowed God to do something incredible in their life through them. But on the flip side, we can also find on the opposite side of the Bible, Adam and Eve decided to eat the fruit. Cain chose to murder Abel out of jealousy. David slept with Bathsheba. Judas betrayed Jesus. Their decisions messed up their lives real bad. You probably have made some choices that weren't the best. Some even now, you are suffering from. We all make mistakes. They are some of life's greatest teachers. The great thing about choice is, by choice, you can reverse a previous decision. Are you working too much? You can cut back. Are you overly committed to your social life? You can say not this time. Does your life consist of meeting your kids' every demand? You can say no. The course of your day hinges on your decisions. With courage and wisdom, you can make the decisions that eliminate your time's burden. You have to understand not to be so self-consuming with congestion. What happens is when we invite guests to our house, we typically have a meal prepared for them. We work hard and spend hours preparing because we know that something special is going to happen around the dinner table. Conversation is going to take place. Bonds will be formed. It's an event that plays an important role in almost any culture. It's a time when those who are typically separated can come together, enjoy some food, and commune. Cultures still do it today. They embrace the idea of sharing a meal together to enjoy the substance of life. Recall the story of Martha and Mary and Jesus in Luke 10. Martha busied herself with the preparations for Jesus and his disciples. She was caught off guard because there was much work to be done due to the dinner party being held for more people than she prepared for. That day suddenly became a frenzy of throw it together preparations. The house and the meal needed to be put together in a way that is worthy of her guests. Now I'm sure many women can relate to the feelings of Martha. Often women feel that the house is a direct reflection of who they are. It is seen as an extension of their personalities. If the house is organized, others will see them as organized. If the house is clean, others will see them as clean. Creating a welcoming environment is also important since they want others to feel welcome. What might not seem like a bad characteristic became a hindrance for Martha. She was too distracted to realize what was really needed of her. Martha busied herself so that she might appear as she wanted to be seen, not as Jesus wanted to see her. In two sentences, Martha revealed that her work was about more than just meeting the needs of her guests. It was about a focus being on herself. Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to serve alone? So tell her to give me a hand. It was all about her. Oftentimes, our self-centeredness hinders our movement into a simpler life. We are convinced that this life is about us and our appearance to the world. Most of our time is spent trying to create a person that says, I have it all together. And we go to great lengths to make sure that no one finds us lacking in any area of our life. So what we do is we try to have it all together, from our looks, our careers, our lifestyle, our children. We want to be the ones that others look to and say, how do they do that? How do they pull it off? We want to be the ones others want to be. And our time becomes full with things that help us reach this evasive goal. Look at your motives and look at your motivations for your actions and your decisions you make. When we dig deep down and start asking ourselves probing questions about time, we spend our activities doing more things than we should. It sometimes will make us realize we wasted a lot of time. We begin to realize that we treat ourselves like the center of our universe. Asking ourselves why, truthfully answering that question, help us uncover underlying purposes behind many of our actions. Why do I work so many hours? Why are my children involved in so many activities? Why do I spend so much time at the gym? Why do I volunteer so much? Martha, why are you so concerned about preparations? Our drive to become perfect stops us from enjoying the simpler life. We must figure out what is truly necessary and what is just an overflow of our ego. Those who are able to keep their egos in check will find it easier to achieve and live a simple life. They will be the ones who will be able to break through the dams that block the life stream flowing to simplicity. Learning how to deal with the past, learning not to fret about the future, and for God's sake, don't forget the present. Many of us fill our days with time-consuming activities so we don't have to face who we really are. This becomes an obstacle to achieving simplicity in our daily lives because we have been erected to protect ourselves from our own insecurities. There was an example in the book by a man named Mark. Mark worked for a large, well-known commercial insurance company. Immediately out of college, he threw himself into the workforce, spending most of his time and energy developing a career. The work he had paid off. Now He was the youngest executive at the company. He was highly successful, but that wasn't enough. You see, Mark grew up with a father who was always hypocritical of him. Nothing was ever good enough. His dad never made it past middle management, and that bothered him. Mark's dad took out his frustration and personal disappointment on Mark. He never heard his daddy say, "I'm proud of you, son." Mark's dad didn't find joy in his own accomplishments, so he resented any of Mark's success. Mark did everything to try to win his dad's approval, to the point of becoming a workaholic, but that approval never came. Mark's dad passed away. Now Mark is left trying to prove himself to a father who has passed on. He just wants to be good enough. It's nothing wrong with us wanting or being concerned about our future. However, for many of us, the past and the future are something more. They are in competition one with another. They drive us beyond healthy limits. For some of us, much of our daily schedule and the rigors we put ourselves through is a result of fear. We fear the future. We fear the past. While we concern ourselves with one or both, we forget about the present, the only moment where we have some real control. Don't let the concerns of the past of our future swallow up your time. Find perspective and give appropriate attention to them. Remove what may hinder a simple life. Move forward in the present. The past is done. The future is not guaranteed. The present matters. Learning to let go. Remember, your mission statement is your guide through this journey. We developed this mission statement by trying to match our typical day with the priorities we believe have the most importance. The statement was created, watch this, for action, and the removal of anything will be a reflection of your mission statement. Their removal should bring you that much closer to developing a simpler day that is more in line with what your priorities are. Start removing hindrances slowly. You find many things in your life that should be removed, but take it slowly. Keep in mind, you're completely rearranging your life, and you can sometimes bite off more than you can chew. Once you get a view of what needs to be done, do it with patience. Once you get a few victories under your belt, you're less likely will stop your movement, but yet you'll be more likely to thrive at your new way of doing things. Start with just picking a few obstacles to start with. Pick one that will be easy and one that might be a little challenging. Please don't become overwhelmed with deconstructing the day you're used to experience. Allow yourself and your family time to adjust. As you adjust, start looking for other obstacles that are preventing movement during your day. I encourage you to continue to get rid of these things until you are free of all that is stopping you from your goals. Before I leave you today, and before you rock your day, I want to share something with you. Toward the end of the book of Deuteronomy, the leadership baton passes from the Hebrew nation. Moses had been led by God into a fantastic career that was finally coming to an end. Next up was Joshua, one of the two who were willing to enter the promised land despite seemingly they had some odds against them. Joshua had a deep faith that God would deliver the land to the Israelites as promised. He was a man of deep beliefs and conviction. Moses had just finished an epic speech about the Israelites' need to be passionate, to continue to follow God and his ways. And at the end, he calls Joshua to the stage. I do imagine Joshua with Moses by his side, looking out among the massive crowd that had gathered for this grand occasion, observing with confidence the people he will soon lead. It had to be a proud and weighty moment for the new leader as the burden of the nation was about to be placed on his shoulders. Then Moses charged Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, for you will go with this people into the land the Lord swore to give you to your fathers. You will enable them to take possession of it. The Lord is the one who will go before you. He will be with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Do not be afraid or discouraged." Joshua was a courageous guy, but Moses laid out some huge expectations for this new leader. This charge wasn't something Joshua could shun. It was given before the nation. The crowd heard what Moses said. He had to follow through. He had to be strong. He had to be courageous. He had to lead the Israelites, no matter the cost, into the promised land. All eyes was on this man. A nation was watching. It was accountability at its extreme. The burden of accountability is vital for removing obstacles in your life. Ask God to teach you how to be courageous. Ask God how to teach you not to be afraid. The burden of accountability is upon you today, and I want you to understand this. Meet with your friends and your family and tell them what you wish to do and how you're going to do it, and ask them to watch you to ensure you are following through with your commitments. Movement is tough, but it's crucial to simplifying your time. You will need others to encourage you when there are some unavoidable temptations to fill your day with activities that do not match your priorities. Brothers and sisters, allow me to share this with you, and then I want you to go in peace. Nothing happens until something moves. May God bless you. May God keep you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for dialing in. We pray that what was shared with you today will be a blessing.